What is going on, Otters? Welcome in BOL Masters Week 4. It is your BOL Masters casters, Yanni and Shibby, the dynamic duo, giving you all of the Blue Otter Masters action. Shibby, this week we have XG Lightning, friends of the show, taking on Iceborn Dawn. Teams that, we thought Iceborn Dawn had a really cool name, and unfortunately they are 1 and 2 currently, so they're not really doing a good job to hold up their end of the bargain in terms of how cool their name is.
Agreed. I think this is the first time as well these two teams are being streamed. Like we mentioned, the playoffs, road to playoffs is very, very short right now. The season just shortened a little bit, so I think every team will have at least, like we said, one chance to be on stream here. And I do want to talk about some of the power picks as we're jumping right into the draft here. Champions like Zaya, champions like Jarvan have been perma-pick banned pretty much throughout BOL Masters right now, as we do see an Udyr ban going the way of XG here. Rightfully so. I love that champion. I wish it can get played more, but you really only see the specialists kind of playing that out, as now the Sivir and the Heimer are getting taken out here. So right now it's a lot more, player specific bans rather than just kind of generally banning out the strong stuff that we typically see here. Lilia as well taken away. So they're really trying to take Piclay's jungle pool down by a lot.
Well, that Udyr ban is a ban for Bloodstorm up top, who's an Udyr top main for XG Lightning. So that's why Iceborn Dawn has taken that one off the board. You see Heimerdinger get banned away. Chill Will Kills played Heimerdinger last week. 280 carry ban, so they really want to just keep your mom as OP from playing really anything good. And we're going to see a first pick Nocturne, which is pretty bold. And the response could be a Graves right now, but Shibby, I want to know your thoughts on that first pick Nocturne. That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're throwing the gauntlet down, right? Taking that jungle picking. Could be still a MIG Nocturne, you never know. We have seen some hints of it here and there, but it most likely is that jungle Nocturne like you mentioned. And yeah, I don't know, slamming it down so early, typically we'll see something like the Nico Nocturne composition. I want to see if XG Lightning are actually going to end up playing that with Tiggs in the mid lane. Very, very strong. It's still good. We saw a lot of it in pro play, and then it kind of slowly dissipated for whatever reason. It's not like Nico really got a lot of nerfs. It's not like Nocturne got nerfed necessarily. It's just, I guess teams got better at playing around it, but turning the lights off and then sneaking up on the enemy team as like a disguised minion or whatever, right? As Nico just allows you to get that wombo combo going. And so now we do see potentially a Senna hovered here against what is a Zeri. So that is a Senna. We could see Senna Tom Kench. They did do some changes recently to Senna.
We could see
Senna Scion. Her a little bit. Yeah, we could see Senna Scion. They did some changes to Senna where she, I believe, has a little bit more crit, and they changed her a little bit more on that end. So, you can kind of see her in that 80 carry role potentially, right? I know Riot did mention that they want to, buff that side of Senna, but like you said, could just be a full fasting Senna with the tank Scion in the bot lane. I wouldn't really mind that, to be honest.
Yeah, Bloodstorm plays Scion top, so that's what it could be. Again, not going to be totally sure, but it would be nice to see them pull out a creative strategy here in game 1, try to catch Iceborn Dawn by surprise. For Iceborn Dawn, no surprises here. Min Savage plays quite a bit of Yone. Looks like that'll be the selection, especially into that Scion. It could go to Fui, but Fui has been playing a lot of different kinds of champions. I know they've been playing their LeBlanc lately, trying the new setup on LeBlanc where you go Triforce into Hullbreaker. So interested to see if we'll see that catch on here in BOL Masters. As we're into the second half of Ban Shibby, we're going to already see Olaf getting taken away. So this is, just in case they wanted to go after the top lane here, they're not fully convinced that Scion's going bottom, or going top, I should say.
Yeah, and the Olaf is like a double ban, right? Bans in the top and the jungle potentially if that wants to be flexed there. We still see bottom lane bans or bot lane bans here, right? The support, Lulu taken out. Don't want to pair that up with the Zeri. Surprisingly, I'm confused as to why Ice didn't actually take the Lulu instead of the Yone here. I don't know if it was going to get banned out necessarily. Yone, like you said, super strong. Can also go that Hullbreaker build that we've seen. I think last week we actually did see it pop off, right? They were so fed on the Yone that they opted in for Hullbreaker third instead of Hullbreaker second. We could still see that here. This could just be like a standard kind of 1-3-1 composition. The thing I'm looking for on Ice's side, and I have a feeling they're going to lock it in here once all the bans are through, is the engage issue, right? Usually we see Kai'Sa Nautilus, Alistar actually going to be taken away here from XG, or by XG, sorry. And so now I think Ice is just going to lock the Nautilus in. I don't think it's actually smart of them to lock in an enchanter in this scenario with Zeri.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the Nocturne will be able to get on top of a lot of those really squishy targets and cause a big problem. So I agree with you. I think tank is probably the way to go here. They need some engagement here because even a point and click to kind of disrupt the Senna. And now Annie does fit the bill there. And that does mean that the Yone is going to head up to the top lane. We haven't seen Annie support in quite a couple of seasons. This does mean that Graves does have a little bit of issues when it comes to ganking these solo lanes, right? You need to play around the Annie stun or the Yone knockup. But outside of that, you know, you are going to have to really manufacture your own kills. So interesting to keep an eye out here on as Fiddlesticks
I would love
hover.
this.
Yeah,
Fiddlesticks mid?
Listen, Picle has played Fiddlesticks jungle in solo queue twice today, and they will lock it in. So the question is, where the hell is this Nocturne going,
Oh,
Shibby?
please,
It looks like it's going to be
in.
Senna Scion with maybe a Nocturne mid.
Yeah, it could be a Nocturne mid. I would love to see the Singed into the Yone. That'd be really pretty sick. Garen being hovered though, just another one of those top laners that is kind of that negation top laner, right? Just goes up there, doesn't do a lot, and so we get the Garen in the top lane. XG, oh my lord, they have
lightning, baby.
They have locked themselves a content composition here. The Senna Scion into the bot lane, the what looks like a Nocturne mid. I've seen Fiddlesticks mid as well, but like you mentioned, Picle has played Fiddlesticks twice today. This could be a Nocturne mid, Fiddlesticks jungle, and the Garen in the top lane. Just a absolutely wild composition. Similar to the Nico Nocturne though, where you turn the lights off and then you ult with the Nico. When you turn the lights off as Nocturne, you almost can guarantee a Fiddlestick sphere off the ultimate, right? Because the vision is completely cut. So when he ults you and you don't have vision of him, guys, fun fact, he insta-fears you.
Yep, and that is something to be afraid about for sure, Shibby. That combination is going to be fairly potent. We're going to see Iceborn Dawn round out the composition with a Braum here, which I actually don't hate. It gives them a little bit more engaged that we were talking about, but also a bit of a way to protect the Zeri here. It just seems like it's going to be really hard to do that, man. I mean, Garen's going to be bearing down on her, Fiddlesticks and Nocturne as well. Hell, even Scion can get there. And if the game goes late enough, Senna's going to hit you from a mile away. I don't know if Iceborn Dawn has the tools to kind of break what XG Lightning are going to try to set up this game, because if you can disrupt them early, you can take advantage of XD Lightning's comp.
I feel like with Iceborn, right, Iceborn Dawn here, the name of the game is to not 5v5 XG Lightning, right? You don't want to let them set up that Fiddlesticks Nocturne kind of wombo combo that they have, right? We failed to mention that also, once Nocturne ults, you can also have the Scion ult coming and you have no clue where he's coming from. There's a lot of ways to disguise some of the ulties coming out of XG. So if you opt into a 5v5, it could be dangerous. On the flip side, though, if you do opt in to potentially side laning on something like the Yone, right, with a hull breaker, stuff like that, Nocturne is one of the best champions to support side lanes with, right? If it is a Nocturne, you know, we've seen it in the Nocturne jungle where your solo lanes or your side laners, they'll just split push top, they'll split push bot, and they'll just hang back right behind you. And the moment somebody comes up to answer, the Nocturnal comes in, lights are out, and it's a 2v1 in the matter of an eye. You can still do that if you are playing Nocturne mid. It's just sometimes the onus to split push is on you since you are playing that laner. So I expect this Nocturne and Garen to kind of buddy up around the mid game and maybe look to bully this Yone a bit. It's a very weird composition coming out from XG Lightning here, and Ice kind of has the tools, right? Iceborn has the tools here where they have the Annie engage / disengage. They've got the Braum as well. They can play the keep away game very, very well and just never opt into 5v5s.
Shibby, I know you said all that, but I'm hella confused right now because right now I see a Scion locked in the mid lane. Now, obviously, they have plenty of time to swap, and we'll let you know before we go to break what the deal is going to be there. But I see a Scion in the mid lane right now. I don't know if they're memeing around or if Improvise is gonna pull Nocturne into the bot lane here. But I have no idea what's going on, man. I'm actually really, really excited. It feels like for the first time in a long time, we are seeing something truly unique here on Summoner's Rift this season in BOL. I mean, XG Lightning, they've had a pretty good season for themselves so far. It's still early. They're 2-1. I don't know what's going on, man. We see Cartana is in the chat saying, "Please help me." I think this means they have improvise on Nocturne support, Chibi.
I don't think it's Nocturne support. It's
listen, the support player is playing Nocturne. Okay,
the support player is playing Nocturne here. I don't know if they follow the same rules where they have up until the 20-second mark to swap, or if they can just swap all the way at the end. But
I see no swaps.
Regardless of where the champions are, the interactions still functionally work the same, right? Nocturne, if he is playing pilled by the support, well, now you've got Sion and Garen to support in the side lanes here. Similar to how Nocturne jungle does that, Nocturne, I'm going to say farming Nocturne, right? And fasting Senna in this case, the farming Nocturne can function the same way. And you can support the Sion, you can support the Garen. I want to see what this Sion ends up building into the Annie as well. Will be very interesting if we see kind of like that hull breaker split push build that we typically see, or we do see that more team fight orientated build where they go into the Sunfire Cape, the Heartsteel, right? Spirit Visage, or even Force of Nature. Or you can even potentially go into the Abyssal Mask if you're trying to get like a cheap power spike, and he can just be this walking monstrosity, this big bad frontline that you need. So I'm a little bit interested in see how they build before I really want to talk about maybe how the teams kind of interact with each other, because we could just see like a 1-3-1 composition come out where both Garen and Sion build Hullbreaker, they pick Ice apart, and they can't do anything about it. Or we can see a more team fight orientated build coming out from XG Lightning, where all of them are playing 4 dragons, they're playing 4 objectives because they know their 5v5 is so strong.
Well, you know what? With a team like this, why not fight? Interested to see how Iceborn Dawn is going to deal with it. XG Lightning pulling out a crazy comp here for game 1. We are in the spectator delay, which means we're going to take a short break, but we're not going to leave you without anything to watch. Chibi and I cooked up some content. We got some throws and plays of the week from various BOL leagues. We'll see you soon. This is W on the Nautilus! What? Ferox Wolf, what are you doing? What is up, Blue Otter family? It's Yanni, it's Chibi, your Blue Otter Masters casters, and we're here with a little bit more content today. Is Chibi, I believe you've hand-selected some clips for plays and throws of the week.
Yeah, so here we've got, just going through the plays and throws of the week. It would be easy to kind of go through IBS and Gold and find those out, but I think predominantly and primarily here, we've got throws and plays from BOL Masters and BOL Diamond. There might be, I think, a Gold or IBS clip here, but majority of the clips here are either from our league that we cast, the Masters cast, or the Diamond League that we have at BOL Diamond. So, a little bit harder to point out and a little bit harder to find, but, in these higher leagues, Yanni, throws and plays happen all the time.
Yeah, they're synonymous with each other, right? You try to make a play, and it ends up being a throw. And our first one here, it looks like we got Hypnotic Vice on the blue side against Shadow Wizard Money Gang on the red side. So interested to see what happens in this clip as we're 10 minutes into the game, and it's a really tight game, Chibi.
Yeah, and I think you will remember this. You will, once we get into this, once you see what's about to happen, you'll know exactly. But let's play the clip in its entirety. There won't be any sound, guys, so you'll just have to see it like that, but we'll just watch as this clip happens.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Has the memories come in yet?
Oh, it's so back. I actually didn't recognize this clip at first. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They just, try to make the play. Oh. Yeah, Say Less just dominated that fight, by the way.
And so Yanni, can you guess whether this is a throw or a play of the week? What do you think this is? It's a throw.
Why not both? Yeah. Why not both? Right? It's all right. So here's why it can't be a throw. I don't think.
I think it is a throw. I think it's a throw from.
They were down 200 gold. It literally cannot be a throw. It can't be a throw. They were down in gold, man. That's a play out of Hypnotic Vice.
Could be a play. So let's just look at the setup. I want to freeze frame it. All right, so they're doing Baron, right? Or sorry, Herald. They're doing Herald here. Not a bad play inherently, right? You have map control, stuff like that. But I think the key thing to note is that when you're looking at it, right? If you look, your Braum is level 5, right? To your Nautilus level 6. Ari doesn't have ulti. I don't know if you can see me drawing on this.
Ari, I can't see the drawing, but I can see you circling it.
Yeah.
Not only that, but Ari also doesn't have any mana.
Yep, Ari has no mana.
No teleport either, so like you can't make this play.
Yeah, it's really difficult to make this play. Also, you've got a Renekton with an ulti. You've obviously got Hypnotic Viper, the Maokai with an ulti. And then just look at what's happening flank-wise, right? So you've got Renekton coming here. You've got Yone coming from the backside here. And you've also have Nautilus and Maokai frontlining, right? So at that point, either it's so crazy because red team is either thinking they can just burst the Herald down, which is true. They actually, I think, end up getting the Herald.
Worth.
But
Hashtag worth.
But the ensuing fight, especially like you said, Ari no mana. They're not really prepped for this fight. Your Braum doesn't have the key disengage tool needed as well, right? His Braum ulti. Renekton and Yone.
Welcome back, Otters, as we're on the rift for game 1 here between XG Lightning and Iceborn Dawn. Real quick, before we really get into the game, I want to remind you that Blue Otter League sponsored by Coachify GG, maybe sponsored as well. But I got a little distracted as we're seeing an invade here, Shibby.
Yeah, we are seeing an invade. I mean, classic Braum shenanigans, right? You have Braum, you want to walk in, you want to get the invade. I feel like Iceborn could have done it a little bit better, right? They just kind of just ran down in through river up into the red buff area. They didn't even try to sneak around through the tri-bush. They didn't try going for like a sneaky top invade even, right? Like they just ran it down and they're like, you know what? We'll just trade vision. They get some wards down, but it feels like XG won the ward war just a little bit, as we do see a Fiddlesticks ward in there. I don't think that's going to actually pop anything realistically, and we do see a ward on the red buff as well. But this Graves is doing a pretty interesting start right now. He was waiting around the Raptors, but he now ran all the way over to his blue buff, as we see both teams are not leashing their junglers here, so they're going to get hidden starts, is what I like to call.
Thankfully, we have some high-level play here in BOL Masters. Is, you know, you don't need to leash your junglers anymore. Your junglers should be good enough at this point in time in League of Legends in the year of our Lord 2023 that they can do camps without needing a leash. But, Shibby, I want to talk more about this bot lane here because it looks like Improvise is going to go full damage here. You can already see Senna's got the support item. Exhaust for Improvise is pretty interesting, I must say. I am curious to see how that's going to factor in. There are a lot of really, really good exhaust targets, but you're kind of reducing your aggressiveness.
I mean, the idea is, at least later into the game, when he hits level 6, he R's onto you, exhausts you, and you have no hope of winning that 1v1, right? Whether you're Yone, whether you're Graves, whether you're Zeri, you can't beat him in a 1v1 straight up because he also has fleet footwork, interestingly enough. So he's going to be able to catch up to you once he ults, even if you use your dash. I prefer lethal tempo, but I do get that it takes a little bit of time to stack if you are the Nocturne. I know some individuals also go Hail of Blades as well, just to get those quick autos. Fleet footwork should be very interesting, and I want to see how it ends up actually working in the favor of the Nocturne here, because that move speed is deceptively good.
Yeah, and see if it'll help him out a little bit or not. You know, you get that spell shield as well. It's going to be pretty big for at least lane engagements, and so far, the junglers just chilling out, doing their own thing. Top lane is kind of just chill. This mid lane is going to be very interesting as well. You see the Scion's got a couple of dematerializers. He's gone Ghost Teleport. Very interesting to note. And do you think he's going to index into full damage here, Shibby? Or is he going to be, you know, one of their tanks? We've been seeing a little bit of lethality Scion. We all know how popular the boss is.
Yeah, I mean, it is the mid lane variant as well. So I have a feeling that the shorter lane and everything like that, I think I would personally like to see this team fight oriented Scion, right? The Sunfire, Heartsteel into potentially, like we said, the Abyssal Mask. I think those 3 items just give you a really, really cheap-ish power spike as a tank, and you can do a lot of damage. You can, you know, affect the team in different ways, right? By reducing the magic resist, having that constant burn damage going off. Like, you are just this walking force of tank that cannot be dealt with unless everybody throws their cooldowns at you as peak lay. on this Fiddlestick so far has been doing a pretty good job. And now is just kind of hanging out on the bot side or blue side of this Graves here. And he's going to realize, like, hey, these camps are gone. All right, I'm pretty sure he started on blue side.
Yeah, and really that's unfortunate because there's nothing for Piccole to do, right? You really want to hit level 6 as soon as possible. Does have first strike, so, you know, there's no lane ganking to be done either, so he's not going to get any first strike procs or anything. He is going to engage a little bit here with this Graves. As you can see, he's already going to get that damage, get that drain off, and miscue by Vertigo. It's not going to do much, but it's just gonna irritate him a little bit. He's going to pull Chill Will kills, and everybody is going to get pulled over here, actually. Improvise very low on mana. They're really contesting over this Gromp here, Shivy. Vertigo goes over the wall. Now here's the engagement. There's a little bit of low health bars. The exhaust going down. PK getting low. Another exhaust burnt there. Your mom's OP not able to really get in there any faster. So a good job there of Iceborn Dawn forcing XG Lightning out of their own jungle.
Being a little bit annoying for sure, but if I'm on the Fiddlestick side here, I should just be thinking about rotating camps as fast as possible. He didn't really get a lot out of that, and he's also delayed his level 6 quite a bit, simply because he's not rotating his camps on respawn, right? The best thing about Fiddlesticks is that he's a super healthy clear. He can clear decently fast, even when you can't double camp anymore. And once he hits that level 6, he's got so many interesting gank patterns or gank paths to go through, right? He can hit you from behind the Raptors. He can dive you behind the turret if you are like this bot lane here. So many different things. I feel like prioritizing level 6 should have been Piccolo's interest, but instead he tries to like invade on this Gromp and throw Vertigo behind, which is kind of useless in my opinion.
He's still trying to do it. Now he's gone to chickens. Piccole is getting very aggressive here, is down a level, and Vertigo is going to claim most of that gold. Now Fui is here with the ultimate. Piccole, what are you doing, man? He's trying to drain away, but he won't be able to survive. First blood goes to Vertigo.
Yeah, Piccole gets caught with his pants down trying to drain the main drain here.
Hold on. Caught with his pants down? Bro went to the urinal with his pants around his ankles trying to go bother this Graves and got immediately thrown out of the bathroom.
Yeah, I think he was in the wrong restroom, unfortunately, for Piccole here. Yeah, it was just a very confusing, order of events. He goes in, tries to invade the Gromp, says, all right, you know what? I've gotten the summoner spells out. I got the exhaust out from Chill Will. I got the ghost out from your mom's. Cool, fine. He then tries to go and then contest the Raptors. Doesn't understand that Fui can just kind of walk up and ult him and he's dead. It's not like Tiggs has a lot of lane priority, nor can he just kind of help or assist in the same way that the Annie does. Loses out his life, loses out on pretty much his complete top side of the jungle here. And yeah, Piccole is going to get like a consolation blue buff, but just look at what Vertigo is getting off the back end, right? He's already picked up, I believe, the Wolves. He's picked up the Gromp, and now he's going to take the blue buff as well. He's got almost a 4-4, almost 5 camp lead once this ends up happening here.
Yeah, he's got a full level lead now. As you can see, both of them digging off of their respective, or the opposite buffs, I should say. But Piccole still at level 5. The numbers are not matching up. As you can see, a gank onto Bloodstorm here. Then Savage missed the knockup, did a little bit of damage, but got that Ignite out of the Garen.
I mean, yeah, you got the Ignite out. Interestingly enough, because Graves showed top, this dragon should be Piccolo's fairly for free, as the Senna Nocturne is going to just shove that lane into this area. Zeri doesn't have a lot of wave clear, unfortunately, until she gets that static shiv. So that's really nice, but it's like I said, it's a consolation dragon. It kind of feels really bad if you're the jungler that's kind of picking up objectives left and right, picking up scraps in the jungle, while the other jungler is just power farming and getting really, really strong. And Vertigo might have more of an impact in these early skirmishes if Piccole can't get to level 6 in time. Because right now, that level lead, how does Vertigo use that to his advantage? How can he force ganks into the mid, into the top lane? As right now, as I say that, he's going on to Tiggs.
Yeah, didn't have to force too hard, and he got most of the job done, and Fui will get credit for that one. So Vertigo helping him out a little bit, making sure his mid laner gets credit for that one. You can see the pings going on to the Rift Herald as well, so Vertigo will now take some time to do an objective of their own.
Yeah, the pings are going to go out as Tiggs goes down. No TP available. I also think the Cyano got blocked here, so there's no way for him to quickly rejoin that objective fight. And Mint Savage, he's just doing his job right now. Into the Garen, he doesn't have to force a kill. He doesn't have to do anything too crazy. He's just going to become this force in the side lane as the Yone, who most likely will end up building that hull breaker, either second or third, depending on how fed he is. And he's just going to keep the Garen in check. While the rest of Ice, they never have to 5v5. They can just constantly skirmish, do a 3v3 here, do a 2v3 here, right? Find your numbers advantage and just win that way.
Yeah, but the question is, do you really want to try to find a numbers advantage against XG Lightning, right? We talked about how dangerous they can be. Sion can join a fight. Fiddlesticks can join a fight seemingly out of nowhere. And we all know that Nocturne can do the same thing. So it is something to be worried about. And right now, if I was XG Lightning, I'd be worried about this gold lead that's hovering around 2,000 right now. Should be not even 10 minutes into the game. They haven't gotten a whole lot of value out of this Nocturne pick quite yet. And it's going to be down over 20 CS.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of you bite the bullet there. If you are playing that melee kind of fasting Senna bot lane, you're not going to be able to get every CS. And if you do, you have to pay with your life bar. So they've been playing it pretty intelligently, right? Staying alive in that bot lane. I just want to see what is the point of kind of giving this Nocturne all this farm, right? Mm-hmm. Because typically, if you have a good fasting champion, tanks specifically, they have really cheap item gold power spikes, right? With the Sunfire Cape, with all these kind of items. That's why you typically want to funnel farm into them. But if you funnel farm into the Nocturne, is he going to be strong enough to one-shot the Zeri? Is he going to be strong enough to one-shot the Annie? As of right now, I'm not entirely sure because he just went to the bargain bin and picked up a couple items.
Yeah, and really, by not playing a tank, you force somebody else to have to play a tank, and that's Tiggs. Yep. And you can see Tiggs is indexing into tank items right now, so you're not going to see a bunch of damage out of the Scion. You're just going to see a big ball of defensive stats, and I don't know how much that's going to help the team. Obviously, they're just going to need a little bit more time to cook and see how this team composition comes around, but Peakley did just use their ultimate recently and got nothing out of it. So really weird to see that. Vertigo is going to go over the wall. He's going to get rooted and he's going to be scared. Ultimate going to come down for Improvise, but he's going to flash right into Annie, and Improvise is going to fall, and so is Senna. And now they're going to try to turn this fight around. Sion's in there, lands the knockup. Fui getting low, but getting some shielding, trying to run away, and they're going to kill Sion too. It's a 3-0 for the side of Iceborn Dawn.
Yeah, and XG Lightning, man, you said they were cooking. Well, they just have raw ingredients right now. They've got the raw onion, the potato, they've got it in the pan, but they forgot the oil, they forgot the heat. And right now, it's just a mess of ingredients that are falling out of the pan right now as the Rift Herald that was taken earlier gets popped into the bottom lane. It is a 4,000 gold lead, Yanni, at 12 minutes. That most likely will increase to 5,000 once this plate gets taken off. Iceborn Dawn, we said we were skeptical of the tools that they had to deal with this composition. Well, like we mentioned, they never have to 5v5. They can constantly skirmish and constantly look for the numbers advantage, and they'll just win out that way. And that has netted them a 4,500 gold lead at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, and this is a food disaster that even Gordon Ramsay wouldn't want to fix. And, yeah, you're right. We did talk about the tools and the tools that XG Lightning have, but bro, they don't have any. They don't have a toolbox. Their tools are broken. I don't even know if they have hands at this point, Chibi. Things are not looking too good. They at least get a plate. All right, guys, we got a plate. They smile. They look into the camera. They look really pained. We're going to take 2 plates, but Vertigo is going to come down here and look to cause a problem. Zeri bringing up the rear as well. Flash from Chill Will kills.
You need
They're going to tag. They tagged Improvise. He does not have the spell shield anymore. And Improvise is going to be the one to go down. They're going to give that one over to the Zeri. And it's just more brutality coming out here from Iceborn Dawn.
In a matter of seconds, the game gets busted wide open for Iceborn Dawn here. That skirmish in the bot lane or near the river opens up the Herald to be dropped, puts a bunch of gold into the Zeri and into Vertigo specifically, as you do see Vertigo opting in for what is going to be a Triforce Graves here. We could see like a Triforce Spear of Shojin. I have been seeing that build. I don't know if it's actually super OP or if it's just kind of cheesy here, but we are going to opt in for that Triforce Graves here. We have a Leandries on the Annie. We've got a lot of tank busting potential. Kraken Slayer as well on the Zeri. I mean, this team is just fed out of their mind right now.
Yeah, and there's been no possible way, and the big problem is that they haven't given Pikley any opportunity. Like, obviously, Pikley got a little too aggressive early on, right? But he's had no opportunity to actually impact these lanes in any way. When he's on the bottom side, Bloodstorm's pushed in. When he's on the top side, Bloodstorm is pushing into Mint Savage, right? Tiggs and Annie, it's the same deal. Bot lane, Kartana, Improvise, they're pushed up, and there's just nothing that your jungler can actually do to make an impact here. And so far in this early game, it has been an unmitigated disaster for XG Lightning, and you have to wonder what was going through their minds when it came to this draft.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even fancied like pushing into the bot lane early on, right? Cutting the lights out, the Nocturne, and then having the Fiddlesticks dive you over the wall here on that turret. They just haven't really been able to make usage of any of their R buttons, at least in tandem. And yeah, that's Triforce Graves, I guess. Just absolutely chunks out Kartana here. And right now, I don't see any sort of flickering hope for XG Lightning. Every single lane, even the top side with Bloodstorm, with that Ignite Garen, hasn't been able to get anything done here. They can still get these miracle team fights. That is the advantage of having these 5v5 compositions, that if you do play the fight right, if you do get that kind of miracle situation, that you kind of just win by pressing R here. So that is still a possibility. But Iceborn has been doing a really good job of just not letting that happen.
Yeah, and Shibby, we as casters are told not to really, interact or mention Twitch chat during the broadcast. But I want to break that for a second. I want to shout out Idris, who said draft would go crazy if it was Nocturne mid Scion support. That's what we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be Senna Scion bot lane, and I agree with you, Idris. I think that this would have been a much better draft had they gone that way. Perhaps you should make a Coachify.gg profile, because certainly XG Lightning could use your help, but. Yeah, it's just not, it's not working here, right? You have a CS lead on Scion. Oh my god, fantastic. I don't think that's exactly what they had in mind for the pick. And Shibby, I just want to know, how do you think this game is going to progress at this point?
I mean, at this point, man, XG Lightning, they need to go stop by and get themselves some glitch energy using special code Blue Water for a discount at purchase. That's what they need right now.
They do.
They need to wake up. They need to figure something out right now, and that's what they need.
Yeah, bro, they really do need glitch energy. Code Blue Otter, don't forget it. As hey, listen, they ruined it with the invade early on, so we got to get the sponsor reads in somewhere. And what better way to do it 16 minutes into a game that looks like it's heading toward doomed territory? It's not quite over, but the Titanic is certainly heading toward the iceberg.
Oh, soon we'll see XG Lightning, not being able to float on the water. Jack will go down, or in this case, Kartana might sink to the bottom of the ocean here. Is right now 24.8 thousand to about 30,000 gold here. Like I said, they're down 5,000 gold, and silver lining, XG Lightning, the gold hasn't necessarily increased since it kind of bust open recently. But the fact that Iceborn Dawn has just been able to keep kind of a stranglehold around the objectives, around the map movement, they're not giving XG Lightning any room to breathe. As now the Nocturne comes out, and
the Zeri goes over the wall. Jet Set Radio, baby. Although Chill Will Kills could be the one he was called out, Vertigo is going to try to come in to help him out, drop the smoke screen, and it looks like he will get out. Now here comes the teleport coming in as Annie is going to join the fight. They're all grouped up. Annie can get in there and maybe do something, but they're actually Lightning through everything they had at the Zeri, couldn't get the Zeri, had the Braum caught out, couldn't get the Braum. It's got to be feeling pretty hopeless.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the items on the side of XG Lightning. I can't say I'm surprised that they didn't kill anybody. Who's got damage? You've got a tier Nocturne that has what? An Iron Spike whip and a Heartbound axe, right? Like, that's not damage.
Yay, 17 minutes in, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. There's no damage on this team. You even have a lethality Senna who's pretty much been relegated to clearing wards. He's not going to be able to get any damage down. Tiggs is playing full tank Scion. Like, realistically, it's Pikley that has some magic damage, right, with the Hextech Proto Belt. But if you can't get that off, if you can't catch anybody out, and if you're using that to secure a kill onto the support, I mean, that's a win for Iceborn, really.
Riftchild's going to get dropped in the mid lane here as they're going to try to engage onto Vertigo, but Pikley takes a lot of damage from Fui Fui. So Scion goes in there and has to go out. And yeah, you're right, getting very low, but Kartana trying to at least heal him up a little bit. Improvises here, so is Tiggs very low as Iceborn Dawn looking very healthy. Was not able to get down that mid turret very critically.
Yeah, XG Lightning, they threw down the gauntlet. They said, get weird or get out. Iceborn Dawn didn't do anything, right? They got into the room with them. They took their pants off. They smothered themselves in peanut butter and said, we're weirder, actually, as they take the fight into the river.
And this dragon is going to go down as Mint is going to be able to teleport in. Nocturne Ultimate going down just to make sure that XG Lightning can get the heck out of dodge. So you're going to get nothing there out of that Nocturne Ultimate, which is how it's felt a large majority of the game, and you can see the difference in carries in the bottom lane right now. The CS lead should be, it's gone up to near 70, as it's a great fate sealed to get on top of Cartana, who has to flash away, but Tiggs is going to be the target. He's not that tanky yet. Fui going to go on a rampage with Peakley, going to ult over the wall. Chill Will kills, is able to just walk it out. Improvise is flashing over, trying to get into the fight. He's gone near side. He's one away from being stunned, but he's dead. Your mom's OP gets the kill, and it's a complete blanking here. Iceborn Dawn are just choking him out of the game.
Yeah, the intermittent power outages that XG Lightning are causing are not enough, right? These Nocturne ultimates are absolutely not it. You're not comboing with the fiddlesticks here. Peakley is just not able to get anything up. You saw him ult over the wall. They were just fighting in the Nocturne ultimate. I mean, sorry, in the fiddlesticks ultimate. They were not afraid at all. And right now, Iceborn Dawn just doing a fantastic job. And they're so far ahead. We're in the Baron waiting room as that ticks finally into the spawn here. And I have a feeling that, you know, Iceborn Dawn, they're just going to rip that Baron as soon as everybody gets there.
You know, at the time we rated the team names, we talked about Iceborn Dawn. It reminds me of a nice winter morning where everything's frozen over. You know, the lawn, there's no dew, it's just ice. The lawn is XG Lightning right now. They are ice cold. They can't get anything going. And the only source of heat that they have is Fui dropping Tibbers on top of them. It's just not enough right now. And I don't know, Shibby, is there a point in this game where they can find a way back in? I know Senna infinitely scales, and so does Scion, but you can infinitely scale all you want. You might not have that kind of time.
Do you want the short answer, or do you want the long answer, Yanni?
We can go with the long answer. I don't think a fight's going to break out quite yet.
Okay, the long answer is nope. The short answer is no. So there's really, I'm going to be quite honest with you right now. 7,000 gold at the 21-minute mark. I mean, you are praying for Iceborn Dawn to mess up a handful of times. The only thing I can see, and this is a long shot here, is that if Iceborn Dawn let the Baron rip and you can get this Nocturne Fiddlesticks combo going where the Baron will lower the magic resist of the enemies, right, or the individuals taking it, maybe, just maybe you can get that miracle team fight going, but it feels like they're just so far behind.
Yeah, and so you can take stock of that right here as a third turret is going to fall. It is a near 8,000 gold lead. Take a look at the items, right? Take a look at the gold. It's even up top, right? All right, excellent. Jungle, 2,100 behind. Mid lane, 2,000 behind. The carry spots, obviously they're a little reversed. It's 4,000 in favor of Zeri. Yes, Senna's got a little bit more gold than Braum, but I don't think it matters. We're going to see an ultimate get dropped down, but she's going to be able to dash over the wall as the Graves and Peakley's follow-up is not there. Shibby, we talked about how such a potent combo this was going to be, and they have not been able to execute it at all.
Yeah, the delayed reaction, the misfire, unfortunately, I don't know if Peakley was getting some packet loss there. I mean, that's that combo.
You better go pick him up. He's dropping packets.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're
supposed to
handle the ultimate, but now Fui with the Tibbers drops it on to XG here, and nobody dies, Yanni, but damn, that was near close enough.
Yeah, if Improvise didn't exhaust, it was going to be curtains for those two as the Baron has been started. Tiggs is here in his full HP as you're trying to see the Garen try to find a way in, trying to muscle their way past Annie. Peakley is in the area. The ultimate is going to split the gap here, but Tiggs is going to be in the middle of three of them trying to get on one target. Fui's ignited and down. It's the first kill of the game. It's a shutdown for Cartana. Backside of the fight, Min Savage gets a kill. Tiggs goes down. So you do get one, but everybody else is falling here. It is now a 3v4. Bloodstorm trying to regen up just a little bit. Peakley is here. Cartana down to half HP. Chillwell trying to do what he can to keep Garen out of there. Return. Big knock up there, but the root lands. Cartana will fall anyway. Peakley is going to try to drain this Zeri, but Zeri is just going to be able to ghost away. Peakley down to about half HP. Bloodstorm still regenerating. Chill Will kills.
the
It's very low
ultimate.
mana. Peakley's gonna get into the pit, gonna get exhausted, gonna go golden. Chill Will kills, goes down, but so does Peakley. Now it's Bloodstorm, just the last one remaining. Your mom's OP has to get out of there, and Vertigo should be able to chase this Garen down. The smite, the auto attack is there, and they will use the teleport from the Annie to secure this Baron. An elongated fight, but something that we knew was going to be confirmed. It's just Iceborn Dawn a little too strong.
And the lights go out only temporarily. Nobody's afraid of the nobody is afraid of the dark on the side of Iceborn Dawn here. And after a push and pull, a tug of war around the Baron, finally Iceborn Dawn takes the Baron out, and they finally get it over here. Now they're going to go potentially for the Dragons. They go into this bush.
Yeah, Improvise is dead. I'm sure that was not on the improv comedy list right there. Tiggs is going to die. Good dash there from Vertigo to make sure he can't get away. It's 2 more for Iceborn Dawn. And now that actually Lightning has 2 kills, just put them out of their misery.
Yeah, at this point, I think Vertigo's just going to be able to solo the dragon here. We see the split push going down into the bottom lane. Like we mentioned, the Yone has opted in for the Hullbreaker second. So now we've got that guy split pushing in the bottom lane with a Baron. We also have to deal with this mid lane push with the 3 members of the Zeri, the Annie, and the Braum. Can't really do much here. Yeah, like you said, I don't know if Iceborn Dawn will be able to completely close the game out here, but if they keep getting kills left and right, and if XG Lightning keeps staggering, then maybe you can be able to end the game here. They definitely should be able to crack the base open and at least expose some tier 3 inhibitors with this Baron buff, as right now, Fui, not a lot of mana, but a lot of gusto right now.
It should be one thing that I want to point out that I don't think we have yet, as it looks like we could see some crazy things happen, is they're going to try to chase down your mom's OP. Kartana, we had Kartana on for content pretty recently, where we did a guess the rank. So we determined that Kartana was able to see what rank a player was based on their play. But right now it looks like they got Improvised out of IBS. He did not recognize that his support is supposed to be Master. So they're going to shove down the mid wave here. Teleport going to come in, which means Improvised can't do anything, as he's going to have his spell shield broken away. Chill Will kills, still in hot pursuit, gets rooted up. But you can see Iceborn Dawn kind of wants a fight here, but actually Lightning managed to regroup and get out.
Yeah, they are fine here. They did burn the TP from Savage here into the mid lane, expecting a fight. Consolation prize, but the objective bounties have ticked over. We are more than 10,000 gold ahead if you're on the side of what looks like Iceborn Dawn here. It's kind of bleak if you are on the side of XG Lightning. Don't know if they're purposely kind of delaying the game. They're trying to talk draft. At this point, if you're XG Lightning side, I think you just make them sweat for it, make it as hard as possible, and just try to talk about what your plan is going into game 3, what you want to draft, how you want to play, because as much as I appreciate the creativity, it's just a little too much ingredients in the pot.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't seem to be working out. But now the good news is we play best of 3s, which means they have an opportunity to come back, get a more normalized draft, and see if that works for them here, because I hate to count them out, because the game is not totally over yet, but it isn't looking very good, Shibby. So we'll see if XG Lightning can save some mental or even turn this around, right? We did talk about how there's been some big throws in BOL, so maybe we'll see another one here, and that would certainly be something.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yanni, this is an IBS. The games don't swing wildly back and forth here. Usually these higher level teams, the Masters, the Diamond Leagues, they have a really good stranglehold on how to play the game. Now, Improvise!
Peakley managed to fear 1. Look at the damage coming out. They do get a big shutdown. Are they going to be able to find Fui? Does get the Timbers down, and look at the ultimate coming through from the Yone. Tiggs is not going to be able to kill Fui. Shibby, if that was the fight to bring him back in, that would have been it. And they were so damn close, but the Timbers was just able to come down. Mint Savage is strong themselves, and that could be the final nail in the coffin for XG Lightning.
Yeah, Vertigo wasn't even there. He was farming the enemy jungler. It was a 4v5 at best here as the TP comes in, and unfortunately, this Garen might just die right now. Never mind, he's going to be able to walk it out. A-okay. He's still alive, but I mean, this game is dragging on longer than it should, right? I mean, Iceborn Dawn doing a very, very good handling the weird, right? Handling the kooky composition that XG Lightning have drafted themselves. And they just kind of played their game. And I don't want to point to one moment necessarily, Yanni, but I think the thing that like tipped it off for me was it's like Peakley running into the Raptors and just dying, right?
Yeah.
Like
that was I mean, that was a win trading investigation there. Like that was not great. And Peakley has gotten off a couple of better ultimates here. It's just a warm-up game, Shibby. Like, come on. They cut them some slack. It's just a warm-up game.
Yeah, I mean, the diesel engine is going for XG Lightning. Maybe they'll be able to turn it on.
Hey, you know what? Let's point on the good side of things. Bloodstorm has played much better than the Garen that we had in our solo queue games earlier today.
That's true. That is true. He, didn't lose the matchup necessarily.
Okay.
Peakley with the ultimate.
Improvise going to turn out the lights. Peakley going to flash away, and Improvise has been tagged and has now been knocked up. Chill Will kills.
1v1.
Bomb's just trying to get in there, man. He is going to fear him out a little bit. He's going to flash after him, trying to get that last auto attack down. Can't quite do so. Vertigo over the wall. Does so much damage, man. Bursts out the fiddlesticks. Isn't able to pick up another kill, but that's okay. The Zeri will. And Tiggs is being chased away. Vertigo doesn't care how tanky you are. Look at the damage he's putting out here. First turret in the base is going to fall. Middle inhibitor going to fall as well. They don't really have minions to continue the push, but that is A-okay for Iceborn Dawn as they've broken the base.
Yeah, and the game looks to be over pretty soon as we are 29 and a half minutes in, almost ticking over to the 30-minute mark here, as it is a 15 or almost near 15,000 gold lead for Iceborn Dawn here. I don't know if it's concerning that Iceborn just hasn't closed it out yet, right? 30 minutes in, but they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's. They took the first Baron.
Bro, they're writing in cursive right now. Come on.
Yeah. They're writing a full Shakespeare story at the moment in full cursive. They're just trying to be as neat as possible here. They're gonna go for the Baron. They pick up the Ocean Soul at the 30-minute mark here, so they're pretty much nigh unkillable. And as I mentioned, it actually isn't going to be the Triforce Spear of Shojin Graves that I've seen. It's just going to be Triforce into the Black Cleaver, into the BT. At this point, you could literally build anything on any of these champions, and you'll be fine. I could see 6 Zanyas potentially from Savage here, and he could just win the game.
Well, we are going to see a teleport coming in from Savage as this turret gets to about half HP. Bloodstorm just trying to do what they can, trying to push the game away, but not going to be able to do so here and now. Tiggs is going to be the one who's targeted. He is going to go unstoppable into his own jungle, as many members have to recall. Look at the members that are up here on the other side of the map, improvising Peakley. They want to make a play on the Mint Savage. They're going to try to find the play onto him. Peakley going to get the fear off from the ultimate. They've targeted Mint Savage. They've taken him down, but Iceborn Dawn is in the base. They have minions as well. Couple members going to back to try to make this okay. I think they just need Bloodstorm to stay and try to force these guys off of the turrets, but the turrets are both down to about half HP. They are falling. First one goes down. Second one's going to get targeted and go down. Improvise goes in and goes out back to the base. Bloodstorm has arrived. The Nexus down to about half HP. Your mom's OP is just rattling away on the top side. Vertigo on the bottom side drops an ultimate into the fountain. He's going way deep for PK. He's going to go golden, end the game before he dies. He will survive going golden. The Nexus will fall, and game 1 goes to Iceborn Dawn.
Yeah, game 1 went to Iceborn Dawn around the 15-minute mark, I would say. Like, that was the extra 15, 16 minutes after that was just for funning. Very, very well played from Iceborn Dawn here, handling that wacky composition. XG Lightning, they tried to cook. Unfortunately, they burnt everything, the house down. They burnt everything. Yeah,
they were looking like down. Who here has been around for a very, very long time? They looked like Dyrus putting the ramen into the microwave.
The ramen in the microwave without the
ramen
water.
In the microwave, no water, just causing a fire at the TSM gaming house back in like 2013 or something like that. It was pretty rough here, Shibby. Shibby, is there anything you really want to break down? I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Pick something, not as wacky next time around and see how it goes. I think the Fiddlesticks pick was like fine. It's just the team around it meant that you weren't really going to be able to do too much.
I mean, realistically, if you just swap the Nocturne and Scion's positions, I even think you have a pretty solid composition. Yeah, I think as well, on the Fiddlesticks, I don't think you ever invade the Graves. Like I said, you should power farm and cycle your camps as fast as possible so you can get to that level 6 mark, because I feel like if they would have coordinated some dives, right, turned the lights off, stuff like that, I think this composition could have been really cool. It's just the execution threshold for it is so narrow, right? Like you can't mess up one too many times, right? When you play these kinds of compositions, you have to just be the better team and execute on your very, very specific win conditions, right? If you mess up, if you invade early, you give some kills over into the river, you don't really force the issue as this composition is, Iceborn Dawn's just gonna take the camps, right? As Graves did, he took like a whole blue side, had like a 4-camp lead. Yone in the top lane was patiently farming, and he was just there in the right place at the right time. Any skirmishes that were there, she dropped the tibbers onto them, dropped the stun, and it was kind of over. Yeah, I'm not gonna blame the composition from XG because I know these players are better. Yeah. It's just they needed to play to their champions' win conditions a lot more effectively. I think it's more of an execution error than anything.
Yeah, well, as you said, they did get a lot of cool points that game for the draft, but cool points aren't going to get you any closer to the playoffs as you get 0 points for that loss there. But they will have at least one more game to try to right their wrongs. We're going to take a very short break as the teams are going to reconvene, and when we return, we'll give you the draft for Game 2 between XG Lightning and Iceborn Dawn.
Close quarters, and we just see like they're just setting up, like look how patient Hypnotic Vice is here too. Like they know, oh, we're gonna win this fight. And the moment that Maokai ultimate gets popped, it's just unfortunate that Adroit Unbound also gets hit by the Nautilus hook.
Oh yeah, do you know that one's landing flush right there?
Yeah, and it's so sad because he can't do anything, and then it's over.
Yeah, and I think one of the big issues is, if you want to go back just a little bit to the pre-fight setup, is that typically when you're fighting around this objective, I'm going to throw on my color hat for a little bit. You want to seal off the 2 entrances where the Nautilus and the Maokai are right there. And Adroit Unbound doesn't do that, right? So you need somebody to at least try to seal that off, cause a problem. You know, don't let the Nautilus get all the way in there, right? But their defense is leaky because they just play back. They allow Hypnotic Vice to come to them instead of, you know, putting 2 people in positions there, right? Because Mask, you can put him in front of that Maokai right there. You can slow him up, you can stun him up, and, you know, at least keep him farther away from the fight. Oh, and also when that ultimate comes through, if Brahm's the first one to get hit, that means nobody else, there's, you know, 100% that if you line yourself up behind the Brahm, you're not going to get hit.
Yeah.
And they let Hypnotic Vice walk in.
So in my opinion, a throw. Yanni, you could discuss. Technically, it's not a throw. They were down 200 gold.
That's got to be a play by Hypnotic Vice.
So now we're gonna move on to another clip that I selected. You know, pre-context, obviously Hypnotic Vice is up like 7,000 gold. It's actually from the same game, but I do still think
from the same game.
I do actually think this is a really clean play. Specifically from 2916, and you'll see why. You'll easily see why. So Dragon Fight starts.
Bro, I can't even remember half these.
And so the play for me.
Remember this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing that's really nice from me, and I highlighted it during the cast, but also just when you look back at it, the patience from 2916 to like just keep kiting gets Jarvan ulted. 9 out of 10 Zayas would have ulted there, in my opinion. Right? Like 9 out of 10 Zayas would have just ulted there and be like, I don't like this. I don't like being inside the Cataclysm. So on.
Get me out.
Yeah, get me out.
Get me out.
Get me out, right? But the fact that he waits until the Kaisa ult comes in from Gamayasi, if he would have ulted sooner out of the Cataclysm, Gamayasi could have just waited on the ulted in after the Xayah lands, and that would have been death for 2916 in my opinion. The fact that she ults all of that and ults the damage, ults the follow-up Q, gets all that damage in, and then brings the feathers back, that's what saves the play, right? Like, even though in this case Hypnotic Vice were up 7,000 gold, this wasn't even a horrible fight from Red side here. This wasn't even a bad fight from them. It's the fact that 2916 holds on to the ultimate to guarantee him living that much longer and then gets the quadra kill. Like,
now freeze frame it right here. How did Ultimate Cars, Hypnotic Viper, and Death Victim let everybody else get on the Zaya. Like, we're talking, like, if you take a look at the fight, if you go back just a little bit, all three, look, right where you just were. All three of them were on the dragon. And just no, Droid Unbound has a free lane to 2916. What are we doing, guys?
So, I have another clip here prepared for you guys. And if you guys don't know, just context-wise, I've obviously handpicked all these clips. I've decided whether they're a throw or a play. This is Yanni's first time actually seeing all these clips with me while we were recording. So, you know, he's all new to this, everything like that. So he was also like determining whether it's a throw or a play. This is a throw in my book. It's a very subtle throw that kind of leads into a tornado of a fight, right? Like, it's like when the guy slips on a banana peel. It's like, all right, he slips on the banana peel. It's not that big of a deal. But it's when the guy slips on the banana peel, hits the other guy carrying the food drops, the water falls all the way onto the ground, and the rest of the restaurant has just now slipped and fallen, and now you've got insurance cases. It's that kind of throw. I'm just gonna.
And then a piano falls from the sky.
Yep, exactly. It's that kind of throw, and to me, I know when it happens, and we'll just watch the clip.
All right, let's see. All right.
Pretty standard, right? All right, so you look at it, like, I think this is Black Cats or something like that is their name. Red team. They're setting up.
Mystic Cats or something?
Yeah, Mystic Cats.
Welcome back, Otters, as we prepare for Game 2 between Iceborn, Dawn, and XG Lightning. Shibby, not too much for us to break down here, so we're essentially in the draft waiting room at this point because hopefully we see something a little different come out this game.
Yeah, they're gonna look into the fridge here, man. I don't know what they're really doing. They're trying to look for a draft. They're trying to look to cook something different up right now. as we see, hopefully something cool come out. Hey, what? The fridge is right behind me. No, I gotta use
bro.
it.
You are not allowed to have food-based props.
I've got a massive amount of props in the back here, but I would love to see them kind of get in the draft. Like I said, I'm not necessarily a big hater of XG's last draft, right? Like, I know Cartana was in the chat and stuff like that. I got to peek at it as we were, getting ready for the second game here. But I'm not even that much of a hater of the draft. I think, like I said, it was more of an execution error. I like Fiddlesticks. I don't even think it's a bad character or bad champion in this case. When used in the right situations, it can be really, really OP. But finally, we are getting into the draft here. Ice is on the blue side. XG Lightning is on the red side this time around. So we're going to see no Jarvan was actually picked or banned. Neither.
Oh my God, you're right.
So I don't know if I missed the memo, if I missed the message, or if these guys just don't care about those champions. But yeah, both was left open. None of them were picked. None of them were banned. Let's see if we see a more standard composition here. It's XG Lightning do ban out Fui Fui Zanny.
Yeah, for those who might not know, last week we did talk about the amount of times that some champions have been picked. Zaya, 16 picks this season. And Jarvan's pick plus ban ratio is 89% in the league right now. So very, very high, but was 100% last week. So we've seen, maybe those nerfs did something to take Jarvan out of favor. Picks and bans here, you're seeing the trauma bans come out. I know that's your term, Shibby. I'm going to steal that one away from you. As
yoink it.
Annie and Graves off the board. We're going to see Ezreal get banned away by Iceborn this time around. Last time around, it was banned by XG Lightning. So interesting to note.
Yeah, Yone as well, the Graves. XG Lightning just banned out all three champions that destroyed them last game. The trauma runs deep. That is that.
Beat them with something else.
That is that, deep parental drama. The trauma, right? That's the one you go to the therapist for if you're XG Lightning here. You force Ice at least to play something else that they do lock in the Viego. So still no Jarvan priority here. Now XG Lightning, the Jolly Green Giant himself is being hovered. Are we going to get Gumby? We are. Ivern being locked in. I hope people know who Gumby is.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't worry. I know who Gumby is. We make. I mean, I hope too. I mean, I constantly get surprised by making preferences when talking to references when talking to players, and they just don't understand. And I'm like, I realize I'm like 7 years older than them, man. That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make me have to go find the same therapist that XG Lightning is gonna have to find. But They're going to go lock in Ivern. They're going to pair it up with
Ooh.
Sivir, which was banned last time around. So
True.
that will go into the hands of Kartana. And, you know, Sivir can do a lot. It looks like XG Lightning, though, is kind of just in the late game waiting room at that point. And, you know, they're not getting a whole lot of raw power out of their jungle, but a lot of really good utility. Whereas Ice, they've got their raw power out of Viego, and they may as well just pick Zeri again. It worked so well in the first game.
Yeah, I didn't hate this area. You can still pair it up with something like a Enchanter support if you want, or you can pair it up with the Braum if you especially need that safety here. I do like Sivir, and I do like the new build that has come out with her. All right, you pick the Navori, you go into the Kraken Slayer, you hit this like really nice 3-item power spike once you round it off with potentially like the armor penetration item, right? The Last Whisperer and everything like that, and you get this really, really nice 3-item power spike that just tears through the team, right? Because of the W, because of the way Navori works, you can constantly have your W and Q up as long as you're autoing, if you especially pair it with that lethal tempo, as Sivir Taric is coming in here, and that is a lot of safety. That is all the eggs into the Kartana basket at the moment.
It might be too much safety, though, Shibby. They're going to need to draft some serious damage out of their next 2 picks, and then maybe even a little bit more engage. And I like Alistar here because he can keep some of those members away, right? You can headbutt somebody who's getting the Cosmic Radiance away and have it miss multiple members. Like Alistar, not only for engagement, but also for peel, really important. And you're going to see XG Lightning. They're going to immediately take away the Akali. We're going to see Olaf get taken away as well. That was a ban from last game too. So Iceborn Dawn, I like what they're doing with their drafts. It seems like they're pretty well scouted.
Yeah, I mean, they're really, really kind of picking apart kind of some of the champions that, XG likes to play here. Like you mentioned, the Udyr, right? Bloodstorm. I'm not saying Udyr one trick, but just loves Udyr in the top lane here. Can also be flexed for P-Clay here, which is nice. And just removing that flexibility is very, very good, as the Victor potentially, or the Ahri getting banned out. So 3, potentially 4 mid lane bans if you count the Yone, but definitely 3 mid lane bans coming out from XG Lightning here. So hopefully Tiggs can get himself a favorable matchup, as I assume they're going to give him counter pick here simply because you are on the red side. And I don't think red side for top counter pick for Bloodstorm. I think you can kind of just stick him on anything. As I say that, though, they are hovering the Kassadin here. They're matching late game.
Oh my God, they are.
And they just lock that bad boy in.
This is going to be a 45-minute game or a 15-minute game, Shibby. XG Lightning says, we didn't get to play last game, so we're going to play 2 games worth of games here in game 2. They want to go hella late, but it is something that is exposable, and that's why we're going to see Tristana come out in response.
Yeah, Trist in the mid lane. AD mid lane's typically obviously very good with the Kassadin because that Q does not block attack damage or AD damage here, or physical damage if we want to get really, really technical. Only blocks magic damage here, so really, really nice. We could see a lane swap. Wherever the Mordekaiser goes, the Kassadin may come, but even that's not a really good matchup because you don't want to be in melee range of the Mordekaiser because he's just going to smack you up and he has % health damage. Malphite would be cool, and I want to see if XG are going to opt into lane swap or potentially try to flex these 2 champions around, because Malphite into the Tristana is not a bad matchup at all. Malphite into most AD mids is pretty damn good here. So XG Lightning, they round their composition out with the Malphite here. And if it gets to late game, Yanni, a Sivir ulted Kassadin Malphite, like this could just spell a lot of trouble for Iceborn Dawn here. I don't care that you have the double AD composition coming out with the Zeri and the Tristana. Level 16 Kassadin absolutely turbo deletes you.
It does, but I mean, I don't know. Iceborn Dawn, their team can kind of go late too. And you've got Zeri, Tristana, not just double AD carry, but they're both late game hyperscalers, right? And then you got Mordekaiser as well, who can scrap in the late game. We all know how much damage Viego does once he gets items. I don't know, Shibby. I still think XG Lightning is favored, but I don't think it's as out of the realm of possibility as you'd think, at least in terms of the late game. Because in the early game, Iceborn Dawn, they can really put this game out of reach early.
Oh, they can put it away very, very quickly, like you mentioned, right? Viego can start getting resets. If they skirmish like they did in game 1, this Viego can start resetting. Obviously, you have Mordekaiser as well around all these early objectives. You can move him into the Dragon. You can move him into the Herald. Then you become, kind of this instant ult bot that just, all right, wherever this Ivern is, I'm just going to ult him. Let's secure the objective 100% for free. And then we'll turn the fight around, because anybody caught in that death realm, besides maybe the Kassadin, should die, right? Unless this, Malphite is weirdly enough, building some sort of magic resist into the Mordekaiser. In that case, then you're going to kind of be lacking on that, big armor tank that Malphite is here.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much everybody caught in that Mordekaiser ultimate, that death realm should be dead to rights here. The Sivir, the Ivern, obviously the Taric, and even the Kassadin at certain points in the game should just die.
Yeah, that is certainly something that we might see. And Shibby, I do have to ask, now that you've seen the team compositions, do you think we see a game 3?
No.
Really? Why?
No. I feel like, I don't know if
it's
actually, no, it's not even a hands diff. I don't know if their mental is boomed on XG's side, but I also just like the way Ice is playing, right? Like the way I can critique that maybe they took a little too long to clean up and close out that game 1, but they just play to their team's win conditions, right? And in last game where I said they don't want a 5v5, I mean, look at Ice right now. They can skirmish once again. They've got a nice big Alistar to set up your Tristana, to set up your Viego. Like, the reset ability from these two champions, Viego and Tristana, can clean up a fight so quick, XG has no time to react.
Yeah, and not only that, the mid-jungle duo, it's infinitely stronger than Ivern Kassadin. I mean,
100%.
Like, Viego and Tristana are going to be able to go wherever the heck that they want, right? And we're going to see another scenario where Piklay is going to maybe walk into the enemy jungle and not going to want to be there. Or they just might walk into his jungle and try to burn it all down. Friend of the forest, Ivern. The forest is not going to be your friend this game. And, you mentioned lane swapping earlier. Do you think if they elect to lane swap, how well they're executed is going to really move the needle between who wins and who doesn't?
I mean, if you get a 5% better matchup, then you take the 5%, right? Like Mordekaiser and a Malphite, it's doable for the Malphite, but I just feel like if you're trying to get this Kassadin to that level 16 point, you want to just swap him into the Mord, because the Tristana has so much kill pressure, right? If this Kassadin missteps up a little too far here, this Tristana I already know is just going to be rocket jumping into his face. Kassadin doesn't have a way of getting out until level 6. And even then, if this Tristana can get the reset going, gets that full explosive charge damage off, even if you are away as the Kassadin, she can then once again chase you with the reset W here. And like you mentioned, the mid-jungle duo of Viego Tristana, they're going to have complete control on the top side. The only thing I can think is that this Zeri and Alistar, typically if you are the Zeri, you tend to give up the dragon control on the bottom side because of how weak your champion is in the early game. It's not until you potentially go into the Static Shiv or rush the Kraken Slayer or maybe even get your Noon Quiver that you can really start kind of shoving the lane out and putting more pressure. But you're going against the Sivir Taric. You know they're going to shove you in. You know they're going to keep you under the turret here. So you can maybe look to skirmish and fight some early dragons if your Malphite is placed mid rather than your Kassadin, who is solely focusing on farm, who is solely focusing on levels. This Malphite gives you a better chance to fight these dragons.
Excellent point there, Shibby, and we're going to have to see if the teams are able to execute on that. I think that's a pretty well laid out there plan for XG Lightning. We will have to see how it goes down as we are in the spectator delay, which means we are going to take a very short break, but do not despair. We will return on the Rift with Game 2 action between Iceborn Dawn and XG Lightning. Here we go. Let's see this. Okay, everybody got rooted up somehow.
Everybody got rooted up.
That's unfortunate for the Ornn ultimate, that's for sure.
So the fight obviously goes into the blue team's favor. It wasn't even that crazy. Like either team was neither super far ahead. But I identified it, in my opinion. I think it was like a really big misplay. Two big misplays happened here in the beginning.
I was more focused on the fact the Ornn ultimate didn't land.
He greets for the pink ward or the red ward, control ward, and he just takes, like you said, a metric ton of damage here, right? That causes the chain reaction for the rest of the team to just
getting hit by the Ash Arrow.
Well, so he got pulled as well from the pike, but also, what do you notice here, right? The Gwen has so much pressure, right? And if
they could have just done nothing.
If you're red team's composition, what do you do here, right? You have a Seraphine, you've got a Maokai, you've got an Ezreal. Do you
throw saplings and you poke?
Yeah, you let blue team come into the dragon and you just poke because nobody's answering your Gwen right now. And in theory, the Ornn, you've already seen him. He's gonna have to TP to answer the Gwen, and then you have TP advantage, and then you do the fight, right? He slips on the banana, right? And then now the rest of the team's like, oh shit, what do we do?
Oh no.
Oh, like they get into a
Banana Hawk down. Banana Hawk down.
Yeah, and so look what happens.
That's a really nice Ash arrow too.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful Ash arrow, right?
It's right at the needle actually.
Yeah,
and then
it's a Seraphine.
I don't know how to pronounce this this Kane's name, but like,
that
was a really nice play by them too, to recognize that like I get to just kill the Seraphine here.
Yep.
Oh, Rift Herald also got dropped in the mid lane too.
Rift Herald got popped.
That's really sweet.
And now Gwen has to TP.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
and
now
Gwen has to TP. Gwen has to TP where into the Ornn to start with.
Yeah, into a losing
but this
fight.
This is actually crazy. This fight could have gone even worse if Ornn didn't get rooted right there.
Dude,
definitely with you on that being a throw. That is a mismanagement of understanding your composition.
Yeah, and also just, I guess, dude, like I said, control words are like, support's just fiend for those things, man.
Yo, I would have done this. I would have done the same thing right there. I'd be like, "Ooh, piece of candy." You know, just go auto attack it.
It's like, oh, let me get that gold real quick. Like, you don't even need to realistically if you're the red team.
Yeah, it's like your jungler's like back at Scuttle Crab, and Flesh isn't even close. Like, you know, Cornstar's backing you up, but like it's an Ezreal backing you up. You know he's gonna shift away.
So for our final clip here, this is definitely a play. I actually don't know what league this is from. I actually ended up pulling this from one of the clip banks that BOL has, because you can like go through, right? And you can like, oh, clips from 7 days, 30 days. I think this was a match that was like 18 days ago. So it just narrowly missed like the broadcast window, like the past broadcasts. Yeah. It's a nice play. Probably one of the better plays in from what we've been seeing. I already know who makes the play, but Yanni, I'm gonna let you watch it.
I do too.
Oh,
it says in the top left-hand corner of the screen. All right, Otters, we are on Summoner's Rift here for what could be our final game of the evening between Iceborn Dawn and XG Lightning. Shibby, do you think we're gonna have a level 1 invade?
Probably not.
Okay, good. So I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you to use special code Blue Otter for a discount at purchase to pick up your Glitch Energy drink mix today. Yes, we do have sponsors. Glitch Energy, pretty good. I still have a packet or two lying around that I actually need to finish. I just keep forgetting about them, but it's really, really good. Also, Coachify.gg, a new platform for esport coaches with 0 commissions. Sign up is free and anybody can create a public profile. Shibby, did you know that I used to coach back in the day?
You used to coach. What'd you coach?
I did individual player coaching back in the day. I had a lot of friends that were in bronze and silver, and that was when I was back in diamond and low diamond. And you know, there was demand there. They wanted some coaching. I was like, yeah, you know, help them out a little bit. And then they just decided to give me some money sometimes. So then I was like, okay, I will coach and I will charge $5 for 30 minutes. And you know what? Or one game, I should say. And you know what? A lot of players got a lot of use out of that one game. I worked really hard for them.
That's pretty interesting. I would have never pegged you as a coach. Not that you can't do it.
Well, I was more smart and serious back in the day. Now I'm just a damn goofball because I'm on the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of goofballs, Peakley doing some absolute shenanigans right now. Although they do know that this Ivern went into the red side here, immediately tick the camp and smite it. I actually don't like that, right? If you're going to do the Ivern invade, I like to do, and what other people like to do, is that they like to tick all their camps off on their blue side, and then they'll walk over, cue the red buff, and then smite it afterwards, right? And then pick up all their camps on the way back. But we do see the Ivern, because he went for that invade instead, ticks some of his camps off and is looking to maybe potentially stop the invade from Vertigo here. As now Tiggs, like we mentioned, isn't on that top side. They ended up lane swapping. Now Vertigo, he's in some trouble. He's got to flash out.
Yeah, Vertigo does manage to find a way out of there. Fui is going to leap over the wall as well. His improvise is shown all the way up from bot lane there. So you see, Flash is burnt on the junglers here, but really nothing more. And yeah, like you said, the lane swap well executed. So that'll be Tiggs up in the top lane and Bloodstorm down in the bottom side as PK is going to head up to his Krugs. And Shibby, critically, that red buff is still alive.
Red buff is still alive. You do lose your Raptors, unfortunately, and you have delayed kind of your timing a little bit on the peak lane. But overall, you know, I said I wasn't a fan of the direct red buff invade, but he ticks 2 of his camps off. Unfortunately, doesn't get the Gromp ticking, so he's probably going to have to burn Smite for that one. Ticks the red buff, ticks the Krugs, and yeah, he's just going to walk bot, full clear, and most likely look for a gank down bottom lane. He has kind of made it a little weird and made the timings a bit awkward for himself, so I will see what ends up happening on the camp and timer respawns. But so far, not the worst, although Viego is going to have a very significant level lead against Peakley here. And I want to see Vertigo just fancy and invade. Just walk into this Ivern. You can kill him.
Yeah, Ivern now up to level 3, but I'm sure the experience still in Vertigo's favor. You saw a little bit of skirmishing in the bot lane. I like that Kartana and Improvise could scrap there. You can see the damage that they had as your mom's OP got caught and down to about half HP for a short time. So something to definitely be worried about if you are the bot laner of Iceborn Dawn. But so far, Shibby, so good for the side of XG Lightning. They're getting exactly what they want here. Some pretty clean scaling, although Fui has now made their way up to the top side. And they don't elect to go into Tiggs there. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, and they're just going to play this role swap, lane swap game back and forth, back and forth. And we want to see how efficiently they can do it, because if you do keep lane swapping back and forth, eventually you will just fall behind, right? Whoever's quicker on the lane swap will be able to pick up more minions. Whoever's slow on the draw, unfortunately, or slow on the prediction, will eventually just slowly bleed out EXP and level advantage. As we do see Peakley is just going to raw smite the Scuttle here. And after it's all said and done, Peakley comes out pretty even with Vertigo here, as Vertigo does want to invade those Raptors on that respawn camp timer. And I said this is where things are going to get awkward, and it really is getting a bit weird.
Yeah, especially because Peakley, he is not going to know which laner is going to be where at any certain time, right? And you know, you mentioned the swapping and bleeding out just a little bit here. Bloodstorm did have to teleport top lane. Min Savage and Fui still have their teleports available. As you can see, Vertigo going to start just going after Peakley a little bit there, and Fui has the advantage. So it's not like Peakley can really do much of anything there. Again, Improvise roaming up, so is Chill Will kills. So they're kind of letting the carries on their own in the bot lane, and you can start to see the CS leads are definitely in the advantage of Iceborn Dawn. 10 on the top side, you know, about, you know, anywhere between 10 to 15 at any given time for the mid lane as well.
Yeah, and that's just because they've been faster on the lane swaps and they've been faster on the draw here. And as well, a nice little 2-camp lead for Vertigo as well. He's gotten the Raptors twice now, taking it away from Peakley here. And Peakley, unfortunately, has not been able to re-invade onto any of the camps, onto any of Vertigo's camps, simply because they're not up. The red buff is not up. He's on his top side. Krugs are respawning, but we already see Vertigo resetting, and he's probably most likely will make his way to his bottom side, as he's going to be able to rotate his Krugs, his red buff, and keep that away from Peakley. And so far, even through all this fancy footwork, this fancy invades, Peakley just hasn't been able to do something, as he is looking for an invade onto the Raptors that should be respawning pretty soon, as we see the timer or the hourglass coming up. But instead, they're fancying themselves to play onto the bot side. How do they actually do here? Nothing happens.
It's a flash for flash right now, but Chill Will Kills wants to go back in. He does get rooted up. Are they going to continue the fight? Vertigo is going to show himself here, and that will be it, really. It ends up being a flash for flash improvised for the Zeri flash. So good to know. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can see Bloodstorm is very low. Min Savage causing a problem up here. No teleport available for the Malphite, so he's going to go down even further. You can see the dragon started up here for Iceborn Dawn, and there's just nothing that XG Lightning can do. And Chibi, they're down over 1,000 gold off of just lane swap gold.
It's lane swap, it's mechanics, it's advantages that Iceborn is just taking into some of these lanes. The turret plate also goes down for Mint Savage as well. He picks himself up a nice chunk of change here. And right now, we did mention that XG Lightning Their team comp is built for a late game. That's what they want to get to. But if they go down far enough, if they go too deep into the hole, unfortunately, like a guy with a gambling addiction, you just won't be able to get back out.
Well, let's see if Weefly is able to get out. They expend everything on him. Burns the flash as well. He's under the turret trying to survive. But first blood goes over to Bloodstorm.
Yeah, and that's a nice kill going over to the Malphite here. You have loved to see it maybe on Tig so he can start getting his stacking going. Unsure if he's going to actually go into the double stacking casting that we see with both the Tier and the Roa, or if he's just going to go for that singular stacking build. But if he would have got that gold, I would have probably assumed he goes Roa into Archangels here. Bloodstorm, though, nice kill, but he's got pretty much full armor into the Malphite, which is not ideal. He even ended up finishing his Warden's Mail here. So he's simply just not building for the lane. He's saying, you know what? The Zeri, the Tristana, the Viego, they are much bigger threats, and I'm going to build for the team fight rather than for my lane.
Yeah, and now we don't know how big of a threat Mint Savage is going to be. Is Chill Will under big threat right now? Maybe so. Down to about half HP. The Rift Herald is being started chibi. We've seen Rift Herald throws occur. Fuifui in the area, so is Peakley. Tiggs is also around, but they don't really want to take a fight right now. Like you said, Tiggs still stacking up at this point in time. Not close to being the late game terror that everybody is afraid of.
Yeah, and Mint Savage and Vertigo are going to be able to secure this Herald after it reset, unfortunately. And there's not a lot XG can do about it because they have a Kassadin in the mid lane. They've got Bloodstorm, who unfortunately expended his ultimate in that mid lane for that kill, so he can't team fight. And like we said, a lot of Rift Herald throw happens, and so most of the time, if you don't have control over the area, if you don't have the means to fight it, giving the Rift Herald over is not a game-losing play, Yanni. Giving the Rift Herald over and then giving some more kills on top of that could just seal the game shut if you're XG Lightning, especially with the composition they have here.
Yeah, I think some members of our chat may have already heard you say that earlier, during our content piece. You hearkening back to that. Yes, no, you're absolutely correct. And we'll see what this Rift Herald yields here for the side of Iceborn Dawn. We all know first Herald, you love it because it gives you turret plates. Second Herald, you always want to get an inner turret, so you want to at least set the bar high for first Herald because given the state of the game so far, Shibby, I can't imagine that they won't be in position to take second Herald.
I mean, Vertigo had such a good usage last time around, right? The skirmish that happened around this river, they won that skirmish, and then they immediately dumped that Herald onto the bot side here. Is now Chill Will. We might see another skirmish here around the same time.
Yeah, Zeri went all the way through. Zeri's been exhausted. Tiggs is going to be forced out of the fight. Cortana is going to ult, try to get back in. It's now going to be about a 4v4 for right now. We're seeing Zeri take a lot of damage. Daisy's done a lot of work here. Vertigo, very healthy. Tiggs starting to chase him down. This could be the chance, but a great buster shot to knock them all away. Fuifui will be able to get out also. It could have been very scary for Iceborn Dawn, but they do find a way out. No casualties.
And unfortunately, Fuifui just couldn't really contribute a lot in that fight other than the
maybe casualties.
No, Chill Will improvise.
Improvise is going to die before that goes down. Not quite, but he is stunned up, which means once it expires down, you go the teleport coming in. Peakley in the area as well. Whoa! But Vertigo went in. Vertigo has to go out. We're seeing a teleport come in from Mint Savage on the backside. Lots of low health bars. Good job knocking Bloodstorm up, but Peakley is in the Death Realm, and Mint Savage is so strong. Look at him just do tons of damage, taking him down. Now Bloodstorm is the target, down 2 levels. He's going to fall next, and that's another one going over to Mordekaiser. It's a double kill from Minty Savage.
Yeah, you get 1 kill onto your Malphite in the early game. You TP bottom lane. Sometimes you don't need to TP. Sometimes you don't got to keep chasing for the kill and get thirsty. As now, Vertigo is going to once again pop that Herald. I don't think Zeri... Okay, she did get in range. They are going to be able to split that 2 turret plate gold for themselves here. 175 apiece right now. Really smart from Vertigo to drop that Herald, especially when you win that bottom lane fight. But yeah, if you're on the side of XG Lightning, there was no need to force that. You didn't have to go crazy. You got what you wanted out of that, and you could have just kept farming, content on leveling up and scaling here. Forcing these kind of plays and going down, what, now 4,000 gold nearly in this early game, you're putting yourself in a hole that you cannot climb out of.
Well, they might be able to secure this dragon here as the side of Iceborn Dawn, not very quick to get onto the map. We just going to chill out in the mid lane, farm that one up. They realize that this one is gone because Bloodstorm is also down there. He's level 8. He's got a Frozen Heart, and he's at the Dragon. Topside is up 40 CS and is probably going to be 3 levels soon, and is also just going to be able to cash in on a third plate. Chibi, they're leaving Mordekaiser on an island. The consequences of their actions are going to come back to haunt them every time he ults somebody.
Yeah, pretty soon this Mordekaiser is going to channel his Manifest Destiny and go down into the mid lane, go down into the bot lane. He's going to be looking to expand his territory right now. Mint Savage left alone on the island, but soon will be able to wreak havoc on the Rift as he's level 11. You look at the gold, he's 5,600 gold in, as well as OP on this Zeri. Really smart, just allowing the minions to take down, or allowing the tower to take down as many minions as possible. He's going to pick up that solo turret plate gold, the solo inner turret gold for himself, or sorry, tier 1 turret gold for himself here.
625.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of gold being direct injected into the Zeri's veins right now. This Mordekaiser, this Zeri, they are going to hard carry the fights come, 14, 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, King Midas in the bot lane or Zeri? Honestly, can't tell the difference because of all that gold. And you can see at the top of your screen, it's 6,000 now, Shibby, at 14 minutes. Every time you look up there, it feels like Iceborn Dawn is expanding their gold lead ever further. And this is a team that's 1-2, by the way. Like, this is really a must-win game for them. I hate to say it, 2 losses, you're in must-win territory, but you really are at this point in the season. And Iceborn Dawn really making sure that they are still going to be able to potentially find themselves in a playoff spot.
Oh, as we do see SG Lightning fancying themselves a play, although it's an Ivern, a Taric, and a level 10 Kassadin. That's as scary as a potato, as right now Improvise just looking to 1v3, 1v1 the Vertigo here, as Viego does have to ult out, so they do gain some control over the Rift Herald area, although Rift Herald spawning, I believe, in less than a minute, as Fui is just allowed to just wreak havoc on these turrets.
He's just Fui in the bot lane right now, hitting away. Chill Will kills down to about half HP, no ultimate available. Vertigo healed up just a little bit more, but nothing too crazy going on. And yeah, Fui is going to take this bottom inner turret. More gold going to the carry,
Ching.
600 this time around. Yeah, you could hear it, and here comes the teleport in from Fui. Big knockup from Bloodstorm there as they're going to make 4 people invulnerable, but it's a big double knockup there. They're going to ult the Ivern out, so Bloodstorm's the target. He's going to flash over the wall. He's so low. He's going to die, and he does so much damage to everybody else. Fui leaping over the wall, improvises the next target. He's going to go down, and Fui's looking for more. They're going to find another knockup, a double kill for the Taric. The Cartana has to flash away. It's a triple kill going to this Viego. I said Taric because he took over the body, wore that man like a skin suit. Vertigo 4-0-3, and the second Rift Herald looking to be taken here from Iceborn Dawn.
Yeah, I'm just so confused at the fact that they took that fight. Cartana was 1.5 miles away. He could not even join that fight. Even if he ulted, ghosted, flash, he still was just not there in time. They opt in for a 4v4 with, I'm going to name the champions right now, Yanni, a Malphite, a Ivern, a level 10 Kassadin, and a level 7 Taric. I got one question for you, Yanni. Where is the damage?
The damage is in the champion pool because they haven't selected it this game because
the damage is in the brain, Yanni.
The damage is it's located in the brain, Shibby. The damage is not coming from inside the house. That's for damn sure. Because I don't think XG Lightning has it in their profile, at least right now. You see Tiggs, you mentioned it earlier. Double scaling, right? It's going to take you a long time to get online. You're down over 10K now. Shibby, the late game team, they're not going to make it.
No, they won't. They won't make it, even if they put some NOS into their systems, right? Even if they get into whatever the car is Fast and Furious guys are driving right now, they won't make it. As you want to see Iceborn, they are just trying. They're saying, you know what? We're not going to let you get to level 16 Kassadin. We're not going to let you get to that 500 silver CS. We are going to end this game as quick as possible. We are putting the pedal to the metal. We've taken the second Herald. We're going to skirmish you across the map, and we're going to eventually just end this game out prior to 30 minutes.
Yeah, Mint Savage, look at him up top, level 12, an absolute damn unit, man. Up 3 levels on the opposing top laner. Bloodstorm this game, I think he just should have stayed in lane, man, and gotten those levels up. He's down, 50 CS, and they're going to try to pick on Mint Savage here. I don't know if this is the greatest idea. Shibby improvises here. Kartana's here. Rift Herald going to burn the mid lane. Mint Savage is going to pull him into the death realm while he's exhausted. Look at the mid lane. That Rift Herald charges in. It's going to take that turret down very shortly. Improvise is going golden, but Mint Savage is going to be able to take him down. He manages to find one, but he's getting chased down by 2 very strong members. Tiggs trying to chase down Mint Savage. He's going to give himself a bit of a shield. Tiggs is very low on mana, but does restore it from the W. But look at the mid lane. PK went down, and the Shelly is going to crash into the inhibitor turret. They threw everything at the Mordekaiser and couldn't take him down.
You can throw the kitchen sink.
Wait.
Can throw.
It's
wait
actually over. They threw Shelly. They were throwing Shelly. The teleport's in. The Nexus is exposed. Should be. I thought backs were going to be in time, but they weren't. They weren't in time. And out of nowhere, Iceborn Dawn has ended the game.
I'm not sure.
Even our producer doesn't know what's going on.
I'm not sure what happened. I don't
minutes.
know. I don't know. 18 minutes in. I'm checking right now, Yanni, I'm checking my PayPal right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, man. What happened? Guys, XG Lightning, check your PayPals. Blue Water is funding the script. It's rigged. The bracket is rigged. Everything is rigged. Yanni, I'm pulling the curtain back.
Oh no, Shibby, don't pull the curtain back. You're big head looking Wizard of Oz. There's no way, bro. I can't believe what just happened here. 18-30, 1-2 Iceborn Dawn, improving now to 2-2. What did I witness this year? Shibby, this has to be... Listen, you weren't casting with me with Masters like the last season and a half or whatever. I've casted a lot of Blue Water games. I don't know what the hell I just watched, man.
I'm looking at the pots and pans, man. I don't see anything in here. It's just a mess right now. XG Lightning, what are you cooking? There's no ingredients in here.
Oh my god. Bro, just brought the whole pan, bro. Had nothing left. Bro, I don't have any props, man. I just got a statue of LeBlanc and Caitlyn over here. Actually, no. I found it. I found their damage. They're right here. The damage is right here for XG Lightning. It was here with us the whole time.
The content team with the content composition. You have not failed me at all. But congratulations to Iceborn Dawn for the 2-0 against XG Lightning. I would say a hard-fought battle, but I don't think Iceborn Dawn even broke a sweat, Yanni.
Bro, there's no way, man. What a series, if not just because it was hella fun to watch, man. Like, honestly, just watching them do whatever they wanted. I think the craziest part was Mint Savage somehow just not dying. And the worst part is that Tiggs backed, right? Because he's like, I gotta stop them from winning the game, and couldn't even stop them from winning the game, right? He could have went even further and maybe actually killed the Mordekaiser, and it would have felt at least a little better, man. This was a rough series. This might be one of the most one-sided series I've ever seen in BOL. 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I feel bad for Kartana, man. He tried. He at least didn't die.
I mean, he had the most damage in the game as the Sivir. I feel like Kartana's in jail, guys. I feel like he's in jail. He's in team jail. We got to figure it out. We did
get him out.
Get some news that they didn't scrim at all this week. So I mean, I get it if you're not streaming, if you're not.
It showed.
Yeah, we also had to delay the game here 30 minutes as well. So I think there's just been some obviously internal team issues, right? Not necessarily that the players don't like each other. It's just
after this, I don't know.
People got lives. I get it. You don't have time to scrim. You don't have time to do anything. You play for the content. You've still got some time to make playoffs. I do believe that XG Lightning, like you mentioned, we're 2-1 prior to this series. So they do just go 2-2 right now. I believe we have another couple weeks of actual regular season play before the playoffs are locked in. And at that point, Yanni, playoffs. Talk about playoffs. It's everybody's 0-0. Everybody's 0-0.
Yeah, well, you have to make it there first. And after today, Listen, I would be selling all of my XG Lightning stocks, man. This is their bottom of the list. They're NA at Worlds, man. I don't know. I can't show any confidence in that, man. It's just pretty rough. I mean, you know, the one thing you get to take away from this, Kartana did have the most damage of champions.
Yeah, I mean, they also finished the game just in time for you to finish out the Eagles-Buccaneers game.
Yo, honestly true. The Eagles-Buccaneers is about to be over, so I'm going to go catch that. So we are going to call it here for this evening. Thank you all so much for being here. It was, wait, what are we waiting for?
Wait.
What?
Don't forget to use code BLUEWATER.
Bro, I was getting into that. Fine, you can do it. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. My bad. Rewind.
No. Go ahead. Do it before Wolves just cuts us off, all right?
No. Take it. Yadi,
okay, fine. You can use special code BLUEOtter for a discount at purchase for Glitch Energy. Pick up your unrivaled Glitch Energy drink mix today. There's a little bit of fine print at the bottom. Yes, these are real quotes from real people. They are definitely not paid actors. All purchases were above board and no bribery was included. So you know that Glitch Energy is legit because there was no bribery. What's also legit and not as memey as that advertisement, Coachify.gg, new platform for esports coaches with 0 commissions. Sign up is free. Anybody can create a public profile. And like I said earlier, XG Lightning might need that. But that is it for us here this evening. So for myself, for my co-caster Shibby, for our producer Ols, thank you so much for being here and doing your hard work. We are going to call it for the evening. Thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more Blue Otter League action.